Hey there writers, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Emma and I write contemporary romance and I'm based in the UK. In today's video, I am wanting to talk about why I have turned my back on X, or Twitter as you may still call it, despite the fact that just a few years ago I wrote a book for authors all about how to make the most out of having an account on that social media platform. So first of all, this decision has kind of been coming for a very long time, and I didn't even really realize it. And there's a few components to it. So first of all, I have been on X for a pretty long time. I started my writing career, I think 12 or 13 years ago. We'll go with 12, but it could be 13. And I had a Twitter account, Twitter as it was known then, but for a book review site which I used to run. So when I brought out my first book, The Green Hills of Home, which I self-published, I set up a Twitter account for myself as an author, and I used it a lot. I'd already had like a little bit of history, as I say, with the site. I kind of knew how it worked. I had some connections on there, especially other book reviewers and other authors. So I built up like a little following fairly quickly. But what I found is that it would be an afterthought always to post on there. And I was always kind of aware of that at the back of my mind. But you should also bear in mind that kind of 12 or 13 years ago, there weren't as many options with social media as there are now. I would say Facebook was the biggest one, and then you had Twitter, and Instagram, I believe, started in 2010. I don't think that I was on Instagram when I started with Twitter. I'm fairly sure that that came a bit later, but we didn't have Threads, we didn't have Blue Sky, we didn't have TikTok. Am I forgetting any? I don't know. But basically there was just less option of where to be if you were wanting to find other writers or book reviewers or publishers or agents online. So I've never been somebody who would tweet regularly, you know, like 10 times a day or something like that. I would retweet other people's things. Like I say, I would share book news and things, but never kind of like a running commentary on my life like some people do. Anyway, so then I started my YouTube channel years later, and I started my social media for writers series, which I will make sure that I link down in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. And one of the main social media platforms that I was wanting to work on was my Twitter account, because I just realized that I potentially wasn't making the most out of it. So yeah, I kind of researched this for the series. I put things into play. I found what was working. I found what wasn't working, all kinds of tips and tricks. And then I wrote this little book. I tweeted him a writer's guide to social media marketing on Twitter X, because it was while I was writing this book that Elon Musk took over Twitter and it became X. So I did have to change like quite a bit of what was originally in the book to go along with that, and I still haven't forgiven Elon for that, honestly. Yeah, so that book is really packed full of everything that I learned. It is only a small book, but there is no fluff in there whatsoever. It is points. You know, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you should use Twitter for if you want this out of it. This is what you should be using Twitter for if you want to get that out of it. And I really do think it's a very useful resource, and I learned a huge amount while researching for it. But the simple truth is that I just don't like Twitter, or X as it is now. I just don't enjoy using it. Maybe it's because it's not pretty like Instagram. If there is a social media app that I'm going to use is Instagram, because I like the pretty pictures and things. I guess it's attractive to look at. Or it would be Facebook, because more of my actual real life friends and family are on there. So if I'm wanting to keep up to date with what they're doing, you know, the actual reason why we had social media in the first place, that would be the one that I'm on. So I've just found that naturally, since writing the book, I've drifted further and further away from wanting to use X, which obviously was the exact opposite of what I meant to do when writing this book. Now, I really, really want to emphasize that just because X isn't right for me, especially at my current point in my publishing career, that does not mean that it's not right for anybody else. I genuinely don't think at the moment that it would be worth my time to spend more time on X because of what I would get back in return. I think that because of what I write, most of my readers are on Instagram rather than on X. That would be different for other genres. The absolute best use, as far as I have been able to tell over the years and from my research, of X for writers is if you are looking for a publisher or for an agent, because they're all on there and they hold all kinds of competitions and things which are just on X for you to pitch a story to people, and people do end up with publishing contracts. You can also keep up with publishing news very well on there, so you can find out who's open for submissions and exactly what they're looking for. Now, at the moment, I have a publisher. I'm very, very happy with my publisher, and I'm not looking for another one, and I'm not looking for an agent, so it is not useful to me from that point of view. In the future, I could possibly use it for that. I guess. I hope I don't need to, because I do really like my publisher, but that is always an option. Obviously, things change in the publishing industry all the time, and it might be that I do end up using X for that in the future. But at the moment, what I focus my energy on when it comes to social media is Instagram and Facebook, and then I will also post things on TikTok as well. Yeah, don't even get me started on TikTok. That is a whole rant in of itself. So the purpose behind this video, after all of this rambling, is that not all social media apps are created equally for everyone, and there is no point to wasting your time as a writer on an app that you are not really getting anything from. You're not enjoying it, you're not getting a lot of feedback to what you're posting maybe, or just that it's not really all that useful. It's not leading to either book sales or to getting in contact with a publisher or an agent or whatever you are wanting to use that app for. Obviously, if you enjoy using the app, then use it, but it is not possible for us to write books and to be very present on all the social media apps that are available, and certainly not to be able to do them all well. You are much, much better off sticking with just one or two apps that you enjoy using, that's where your audience is and that you get something from. And you just have to kind of use trial and error and what you already know about those apps as to which one will work for you. And unfortunately, at least at the moment, it is not X for me. And while I will continue to share any publishing news or anything like that on there, I won't use it on a day-to-day basis by any means, and that extra time can be used on writing my next book. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe if you're not already, because we have a lot of fun on this channel, and I will catch you in the next one.